we get back to that S word, I'm not talking about skiffle, I'm talking about organised compassion, what that is, you know? Any attempt at that, those people who can see political correctness everywhere, it's like the kind of monster under the bed when their mum turns out the light. It's the sum of all their fears, and their fears are that women and people of colour and people from the LGBT community and young people will come in and have their moment in front of them, and they won't be in control of shit anymore. That's the people who are pointing political correctness everywhere you see it. It's a form of performative prejudice. It's nothing more than that. So what I really want to talk about is empathy, and I'll tell you why. This is very, very important to me. As a musician, our currency is empathy. It's the thing that we offer. You know, and I'm not talking about political music, I'm talking about any music now. Any music is capable of making you feel a situation that you yourself have never experienced, that somebody else is experiencing. It might be a love song, it might be a political song, it might be a song you don't even understand the language of it, but it does something to you. And as a result of that, you have some respect for the person who wrote that song and the culture that it comes from. That is the power that music has. It doesn't have agency. Trust me, I've done I can best the last 35 years. It doesn't have agency, but it does have a power. And that power is what you might call the solidarity of song. You know, if you go to a gig and you're there in the audience and there's a crowd of people and the person who wrote the song is singing it, everyone else is singing it, you're singing it, whatever emotions you've invested in that song are accepted by everybody in the room. There ain't many places outside a church you can get that feeling. Let me tell you, you certainly can't get it on the internet. And this is why people, although music is cheap as chips, people still want to come to gigs. They still want to have that feeling of being part of something bigger than themselves. And that's empathy, that's what it is. I mean, I didn't get onto this last night, but a couple of people were telling me last night that some of the things that we sang together and that moved them to tears. And I'm good about that's what I'm talking about. That emotion, it's really easy to make people laugh. We do it all the time in conversation. But to be able to move someone emotionally in that way without harming them in any way, that is a really powerful thing. That is the power that music has. And the reason I'm telling you all this, because, you know, we have to keep focused on that, and that idea of empathy, is if we're going to get our countries back, we're going to have to find some empathy for those people who voted for him and who voted for Brexit. We're going to have to find some accommodation, maybe 20, 30% of them. We're going to have to be able to accept the pain that they have felt. Not the racists, not the bigots, but those ordinary people who felt that no one represents them anymore. We're going to have to find something that says, we're here, you know, we've got something for you here. We've got organised compassion. Because if we haven't got compassion for them and all, we'll be back where we are. We'll be straight back to Brexit and straight back to some other right-wing arsehole running your country. So that's the challenge for us. That's the challenge, to find a way. And that's why I believe that S word is really important in this context, because it is about empathy. It is about compassion, you know? It is about not dismissing those people who aren't quite doing as well as you, or aren't living in the same place as you, or don't have exactly the same views of you. We've got to find some accommodation with them to make a supermajority, to make sure that the racists, the bigots, the misogynists, the homophobes, that they're marginalised and they're kept out of our mainstream. That's the only way we're going to do it.
Up in the morning and out to school, Mother says there'll be no work next year. Qualifications once the golden rule, and now just pieces on paper. Just because doesn't mean I'm just because you're going forward doesn't mean I'm going back. If you look the part, you'll get the job in last year's trousers and your old school shoes. Convinced so it's a buyer's market, they can afford to pick and choose. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm crazy. Just because you're going forward doesn't mean I'm going. Wait up, I don't remember that line. I seem to remember it when closing and the army's full. I don't know what I'm going to do. Come to see in the land of the free. There's only a future for the chosen few. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm right. Just because you're going forward doesn't mean I'm going. 21, you're on top of the scrappy, but 16, you were top of your class. They took you at school, was that to be a good worker? The system has failed you, don't fail yourself. Just because you're better than me doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just because you're going forwards doesn't mean I'm going backwards. Thank you.